It says we are live. I'm just going to check on YouTube to confirm. I'm sure we are. I just,
Always got to make sure.
Yes. We are live. Good morning, everyone. So as you can see, I have 3 guests with me currently on screen, and then Bree Buonomo will be my 4th, and she's coming in later. So because multiple guests means more chatting, we're probably going to go for 3 hours. If any of my guests need to leave, they'll, say goodbye and then do an outro. But I think we should start with intros. So Helene, you are first in the alphabet.
Dang it. All right. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Helene Foy. I am an author tuber. I post writing-related content videos at least once a week at this point, and I also host writing sprints, live streams on my channel. And yeah, today I'm actually going to be doing some reading because it's been forever since I've just sat down and read anything besides a textbook. So I'm excited to be reading Fable. I'm about, I don't know if you can tell. I just started it about a third of the way through, but it's getting exciting now. So I'm hoping to just sit down and be able to read some more. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'll go next since I guess I'm next in the alphabet. Hi. And Helene, that's awesome because I actually just hosted a fun live video about Fable like 2 weeks ago because I mostly...
I saw that.
Yeah, I was like, I just did that one. But yeah, so I mostly live on Instagram. I would say I'm more of an author grammar than author tuber, but I do cross streams and come on Zara's channel every so often, so I'm glad to be here. But I'm a fantasy writer and blogger. My blog's Newbie to Novelist, and that's also all of my social handles. And I do release writing-related content once a week. And then I also, once every 2 weeks, host a Instagram live series that's called Well Read, Better Written, where I basically take a deep dive into different novels that I've read and enjoyed and kind of deconstruct them from the writer's lens. And yesterday I did Caraval, but 2 weeks before that I did Fable. So it was a fun experience.
That's awesome.
But I might also be doing some reading because I'm reading the Red Queen right now, and I'm very close to being done. And if I can finish this before we end today, would be great.
I believe in you.
Hi guys, I'm Sarah Sutton. I'm an indie author of 4, soon to be 5, young adult romance books. My newest one comes out June 9th, so I'm so excited about that. I'm here a lot on YouTube and on Instagram. I post YouTube videos 2 times a week now. In June, I'll be picking back up my live stream schedule. But I'm also like 1 away from... I don't remember the number. I'm 1 away from like a milestone number on Instagram. So if you want to go follow me over there, I'm Sarah May Sutton over there. But yeah, today I'm going to be working on beta reading things. So I'm excited.
I'm looking up what number you're like 1 away.
It was something 99 when I looked, but I can't remember what the number is.
Okay,
let me check.
You are 6 posts away from 1,000, it says, and you are 100 followers away from 6,000.
Oh, so was it $8.99?
Yeah, I guess.
Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. But I don't know. When it's 99, I'm just like, okay, is there like one more? Just for the clean numbers.
Round number, yeah.
Person for that, but for the cleanness,
Yeah, no, I totally get you. Okay, for those of you who don't know me, although I'm looking at the chat and I'm pretty sure everyone here knows me, my name is Sarah Hoffman. I'm the self-published author of 5, soon to be 6 books, and many, many more to come. I'm working on the second to last chapter of the 3rd book in this trilogy, and I am so excited to be done with it. I tried to finish it last night, and then I was just like, I got caught up in a YouTube video premiering of someone else's rush. It's like someone was reacting to 50 Shades of Grey, and I was like, oh, I gotta watch this live. So very, very close. I'm hoping to just finish this chapter and the epilogue during the stream, and I think I'll be able to.
Yes.
Fingers crossed.
I'm going to post the Forest Room code up on screen if people want to enter it. I'll read it out loud and then I'm going to say hi to people in the chat. So the code for the first Forest Room is 348 Whiskey 7 Niner Hotel. I do it military so that people can, really
I love it.
They get it correct.
Yeah.
Okay, Regina was here. For some reason, it looks like Hannah's first comment is not showing up in StreamYard because Regina's first comment was clearly replying to Hannah. But hello, Regina. Hello, Hannah. Violet, Mercurial. Hannah's so close to summer break. 2 more weeks. Plus 1 week of exams. I am thinking of you. I'm starting my summer semester tomorrow for 12 weeks.
Ooh.
Let's see. Alvin is here. Good morning. Stig is here. Hello. Chandra. Crow. Hello. I'm sorry I scared you. Her volume was too loud. 3 hours. Yep. Stig loves the Fable cover and the matching one for the second one. Yeah, I love covers that do that.
The face.
Yeah. Courtney is here. Hello. Crow hears Fable and thinks of the Xbox game. I mean, that's a valid conversation and association to have. CB, hello. Raph, hello. Stig is going to be working on short story, finally finished, but have to deconstruct Act 2 and rework that today. Wish I was a cleaner drop. It comes with practice, at least for me. I know that because I would never have thought I'd be able to write and publish a book within 3 months, and I've done it twice, and I'm doing it for a third time.
Wow.
For this trilogy, and then I'm like,
that's
never,
amazing.
Never again. I know I can do it. I never want to put myself through that stress again. We're going to start sprinting soon, I promise. The art of the novelist is to arrive at that artless point where your characters become more real than yourself.
Ooh.
I love that.
That's a cool quote. Celine is here. Regina's hyping me up with my books. Stig is in an adult job, so no summer holiday. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I know that feeling.
What is outside my window? It sounds like an alien abduction, but I'm pretty sure it's just a siren.
It's great for sci-fi writing. It gets you inspired.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I finished the alien abduction part in this book and the first book, so a little late, but it's okay. Violet's going to be working on fanfic, almost done. Probably one more chapter in the epilogue, so same as me. Hannah's going to be cleaning her room for the first sprint. It's a disaster. I mean, I've been there. And not to throw you under the bus, Sarah, but you've been there based on your vlogs.
Oh my gosh, right now it's pretty bad. I should probably make my bed before I do anything. So that's what I'll be doing the first sprint. So my problem is when I get dressed in the morning, I don't like what I have on, so I'll change it. But I'll throw it on the floor. And I'll do that like several times. Yeah. And that's where the accumulation comes from. It's not dirty, it's just clean clothes.
Accumulation.
Yeah. My mom hates that I do that like at the end of the day. She's like, why don't you just hang it up or put it in the laundry? And I'm like, because I'll do it in the morning. Like, why is it bad? They're like, I'm already in bed. And like,
oh, mine is I'll do that where I take off the clothes and just on the floor, but then I'm already running late. So just the process of putting it back into the closet is just like too much to handle.
Yeah. Right? It's like eventually it becomes clean. Why does it have to be every single second? Good morning, Autumn. Yay, Crow is going to be working on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Harry Potter crossover fanfic again.
Yes.
Yeah, vampires, magic. I love the crossover.
Yeah. Claude working on debate scenes. I'm assuming you mean like debate from like the Save the Cat outline system. Raph is going to be eating a taco and then starting episode 4 on Bella. Congrats. Grace continues. Evening. Yes, hello. Crow says, Sarah, making your bed is overrated. The second I make mine, the dog makes a nest and scrunches it up. So, my dog doesn't like my bed because it's too high. So she like will scrunch her bed at the foot of my bed or will sometimes go after my carpet. And I'm like, hey, no, my carpet's nice. I need this to like stay nice. Mercurial's very happy with the number of people writing fanfic today. Chandra is giving the dog cuddles and then we'll get ready for the day. Awesome. Hannah says, get clothes that are clean and put them on my bed. Forget about them. Go to bed. And then they all just fall off.
I have gone to bed several times with a pile of laundry next to me, so it's understood.
Okay, we're going to start the first sprint. And let me hide the proper banners. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, nope. I got to add the timer. I'm so used to having the timer already set that, like, didn't do that. My bad, everyone. Just give me a second. I'm going to put that up.
Hey, that's my site.
I was like, wait a second. Something's wrong.
I was like, I will appreciate the little self-promo here.
Yeah, no, I'm putting up a link for whoever picked the tree each time.
Oh, that's fun.
Yay. Oh, that's cool.
Okay, now we're going to start in 3.
Oh, now I want ice cream now.
1. Happy productivity, everyone. I don't know what it is. StreamYard will always restart my 10-minute timer. And I don't know how to fix it because I upload it the same way that I do my 20-minute timer, and it doesn't do it to that. So
Weird.
It's just like, no, not enough time. Keep going, you guys.
How did everyone do? What did they do? I mean, I know not everyone was writing that first sprint.
I'm kind of estimating. I think I read about 10 pages from Fable.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oop, you're on mute, Laura.
I'm back. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't hit a button. No, I was saying I got to about the climax point, so now I'm just like so close. I really want to finish this.
You are so close. Okay, let me set up the next forest room.
Sarah, did you get your bed made?
I did. I was very hiding up to go first, Sarah. I did get my bed made, so yay. I upgraded to a queen bed not too long ago, and the duvet that I got is a pain to make.
Oh,
So it took me a good time to do that, and then I read a little bit. So
Nice.
I didn't write that many words. I wrote 54 words while also watching featurettes about like the music and the fashion in the upcoming Cruella film.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm watching it on Friday, like with the like. Yes, I know Disney's making me pay extra, but like I want to watch it so bad, and it'll either be a celebration of me getting the internship that I want, or like commiserating over the fact that I didn't get the job I want. So either way, I'll be having fun watching Emma Stone go up against Emma Thompson.
Yes. I'm so excited for that movie.
I love it. No, I love Emma Stone, so I feel like look, she can do no wrong.
She's so good. Yeah. So I'm already like 1,000 words over like the word minimum for this chapter, but more stuff needs to happen. And
don't you hate that?
I mean, but like at the same time, I have some really short chapters. So like I'm okay if some are longer than others, although they all average around the same. But like I didn't think I was gonna meet the 60,000 word count goal like for the first draft. And then I'm writing some of these chapters. I'm like, oh, I'm not that far off.
I'm hoping to get to the 50,000 word count goal, my current work in progress this weekend, but I'm at like 45. So I'm like, okay, maybe if I can write 5,000 words today, we'll see. Should probably stop reading if I want to do that, but it's morning.
Whatever. I mean, I keep track on my Instagram, and sometimes it goes, the 5K goes fast, and other times it does not. So I'm just checking. Yeah. So on 5 days ago, I hit the 50,000 word mark, and then 16 hours ago, I hit the 55. So like,
oh my gosh,
that's awesome.
Okay. Sharing the forest room code for the next sprint. It is 6-7 Yankee Niner Victor Foxtrot. Comments came in, so let's see how people did. Amanda came in. Hello, Miguel. Good morning. Although you're in a different time zone, so I can't remember exactly. I think it's eve. Is it early evening for you, or like no, it's evening because you normally go to bed like after a few sprints on my channel. Hannah got her bed made. Majority of the clothes are picked up. Satisfied for now. Regina's beta reading for me or someone else. No, because I know Regina's beta reading for me, but I don't know if she's beta reading for other people too. Claude got 266 words. Violet 274. Stig did not write. Had to do some gramming for a question he posed yesterday, sharing the answers I got. Cool. I'll have to check that out later. Grace got 351 words on the end of the world science fiction story. Cool.
Ooh.
CB. Oh, okay. CB has homework to do, but wants to continue working on Project Spider. So I don't know which one CB ended up doing, but CB got 209 words, just don't know for which project. Miguel is continuing scene outline, might try to write ed. Pro did editing, comments just jumped. Mercurio did a diary entry. Even though it's only 9, it already has a lot of content in it. Sometimes stuff happens in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Shonda, definitely going to be finishing her book this week, really close to the end, and emotional about it ending for a lot of reasons. Aw. I hope they're good reasons.
Yes.
Like, I always get excited about the end of a book. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's over. But normally I'm like, yay, next book. CB's currently at 64,064 words right now on Project Spider. I love that.
That is so satisfying.
I know.
My goodness.
Chandra has to do a few more chores. Regina's reading for me. Okay, Miguel's 12 hours ahead. That's right. Okay. Violet needs 5,288 more words today to reach 10K for the day. Okay, wow. People are in the fourth room, so we're going to start sprinting at the 30 mark. Sarah, you are now at 5,901 followers on Instagram. I was like, not subscribers. We don't call them that on Instagram.
Yeah, same thing.
Alvin is brainstorming and outlining for Nano. Do you mean like Camp Nano, or are you way ahead of the curve and already thinking about November Nano? Because I know some people, myself included, who are like, oh, I know what I'm doing November Nano, don't know what I'm doing July Nano.
Yeah, November Nano is just like that's when the guns come out and
Yes.
everyone gets more serious about it.
Well, there's a reason that I have to already know what I'm doing for November Nano. So like that's already set. But then it's like July, I could do this. And then I made one decision and then something else came up and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'll be trying multiple projects again.
Well, that's actually the book that I'm writing now was supposed to be my Nano project last November. And then about 2 weeks before November started, I had this huge idea and outlined something like within a day and was like, oh, I guess this is my new Nano project. So the other one got like backburnered. And then like March, I was like, oh, I kind of want to still write this other book that I was planning. So here we are.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes the story just leapfrogs in front of the line. Like that's what happened with the new adult sci-fi trilogy. I was like, oh, I've written a trilogy. I'm going to write some standalones and then I'll go back to a series. And I'm like, you thought. Okay, CV is working on Project Spider, going to cheat and use part of the story for homework. Yeah, I've done that before. Multiple times. Or just been like, oh, I need to write a paper about this. It's like, can I shoehorn this? And the teacher's okay with it. Awesome. Like, don't have to do as much research. But I heard a lot about this. Pro, I'm one of those people, I always know what I'm doing for November Nano and never know for camp. I mean, people plan their years around that sometimes. And then Regina, my summer session is 12 classes, but I think it's like 10 weeks because we have certain days off and then they make it up in the same week. So.
Wow.
It's a lot of classes.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to start our second sprint in 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. Can people hear me?
Yep.
My StreamYard keeps saying we've lost connection to your mic, which makes no sense to me. How did people do?
Do you want me to go first, Bree?
I mean, I just got here. I didn't do anything.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to like talk over you if you wanted to say something.
You're fine.
I read about a chapter and a half of Fable, and then I ate breakfast. So feeling good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have the epilogue left.
So close.
I know. I have thoughts on this book. It was the author's debut, and so I feel like I give people a little bit of relaxed things, but I'm like, I have some thoughts. But overall, it's been very entertaining, and it's been a very quick read. But I was like, I have thoughts.
Are you going to make a video or a blog post about it?
Possibly. We'll see.
I was just talking about that book this week, and a lot of people apparently only want to like. I've seen like a little cult, I guess, that are like just read the first book and pretend it's not a series. So,
oh no, does that mean it gets worse?
I've heard that too. Yeah,
because I've only read the first book and I have only the second one, and I'm like, do I want to continue now? I might not.
And like, I was so pulled in from the beginning and the concept, and I was very intrigued by the idea. And like, I thought she did a really good job establishing the world and the stakes that were there. And then just like, once I reached the midpoint, I was like, okay, this is getting very predictable. And then the things that I predicted that were happening, they happened, but not in the way that I even wanted them to. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Yikes.
I beta read some, so I got a little bit done. And what else did I do? I was on social media for the beginning part of it because I wanted to post on Instagram, and then I kind of got sucked into Instagram stuff.
As you do.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Sarah, are you beta reading for someone else, or are you reviewing your beta readers' feedback?
I'm beta reading for somebody else.
Okay. Because I have that to do as well. Oh, I have beta reading for someone else to do, but then I also have to sift through like the entire like second half of my book's beta reading feedback. So I got to the midpoint. I'm like, I need a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crow and Regina, who are both in the comments, are have been alpha reading for my whole new adult sci-fi romance trilogy, and this is for the third book was the first time where I was like, I'm giving it to them chapter by chapter through Google Docs. So like whenever I'd finish a chapter, I go right from Scrivener to Google Docs, like typos and whatever included. Although I've been told that like I do write a pretty clean first draft, which is good to hear. But I haven't been making any of the changes, but because Google Docs like doesn't like a certain length of document at some point, I've been like taking their comments from the earlier chapters and like pasting them into my Scrivener document and then deleting the chapters they've already commented on so that their document will load easily. But like I haven't actually started addressing any of their comments. So I know that they've made them, and I obviously have read some of them while copying and pasting them, but I haven't made any changes yet.
Yeah. I am curious what everyone's like system that they look at beta reading feedback, because mine has been changing within this last round of betas, but probably for the better. I'm trying to get like a little bit more organized at like how I'm like gathering all the feedback and then like making the decisions of, okay, these are suggestions I should probably actually go to, and these ones I can probably just like recognize and then put in a drawer somewhere.
I mean, I can tell you what I do. I just finished my first full draft, and I just sent it out for beta reader feedback. So I guess I'm going to find out what my process is like in these upcoming months. But, yeah.
That's so exciting. How did you feel finally like getting it sent out to readers?
It was like kind of a relief because this was after draft 5 or something with this book, and they were like little changes every draft, but still I was like, okay, I'm ready for someone else to read this because I can't tell if it's completely terrible or completely brilliant at this point. I need someone's unbiased opinion. So that was nice, but yeah.
Yes. Well, this round that I have, so I did my first draft, polished that, sent it to beta readers, got that, like, I sent it to like 4 beta readers, so like a smaller sampling, and then edited that again and sent it back out to a much larger, so I had about 15 beta readers this time, which I don't recommend because it's been way too much. And my book is like 130,000 words, so it's just a lot.
Wow.
Did all 15 they're all giving you feedback?
I would say about like 4 or 5 dropped off at certain points, but
That's
I still have like
amazing.
I still have a lot more than I was expecting to like be reading through, and so I'm like, okay, this is a lot of effort.
But I think most people would say it's better to like recruit a larger number because people drop off. Whereas like for me, I put out an open call for the first book and then the second book. And then the people who like were really responsive from those first 2 books, I emailed them and were like, do you want to do the third book? And I just like didn't ask certain people back if like they weren't giving me enough feedback to make it worth like having to wait for another person to like get their feedback in at a certain time.
Yeah, that's exactly why I cast like a little bit of a larger net, is because this was the first of a trilogy that I have planned, and I have book 2 written and book 3 kind of in the pipeline. So I was like, oh, if I want beta readers for books 2 and 3, I want them to have read the other books beforehand. So I'm sure that list will get like more and more narrow as I go through the series.
Yeah.
That's still incredible though. I mean, I did my first round I ever did of beta readers. I sent out to about 15 or 16 people, and 3 people actually committed and got back.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
That's why I pick people I know, because then I don't feel bad about being like, hey, how's it going?
yeah.
It's like, have you read yet?
Like now that I have more writer friends, I can do that.
Right. But
But,
yeah,
like,
at first,
yeah. But the first time like I ever did it, like I just like tried to recruit on like Reddit and Instagram. And so a couple people like I knew, and then most of them were random, which did work because then at least I got some honest feedback. But like the issue is that like of the 15, 3 actually read it fully. The people that I knew, who I knew it was like, I gave it to them because I knew they weren't going to read it. They were like family, and I'm like, you're not going to read it. And they didn't. And then like 2 other people got like some like of the book read, and it sucked because they were like amazing at the feedback they provided, but they were like
they didn't finish.
Yeah, and they like the one reached out and said, hey, I'm in college right now, like I have a lot going on. I got halfway through the book, I thought I was going to finish it, and I was like, and they were like, oh, I'm like basically saying they were so sorry, but they were like, if I would love to keep reading it, but I understand you have a timeline. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm like, let me know if you still have feedback, like, and you do get to read it in like a month, just send it to me because we're going to be still editing through it. And then they never talked to me again. So, but I mean, it worked for what we needed at the time, but that's why it's so strange to like hear that, and it's a good thing for you, but I'm like, it's just crazy that you have like 10 solid people.
Yeah.
But, and I get that idea with the timeline, because I always make sure to have like a very like specific timeline to give for my betas, but I feel like I almost do that for like their purposes, just to kind of be like, hey, here's some expectations, and it gives them like at least some structure, because if they don't have a timeline, then it's like, oh, they'll never actually read it and get back to me. But I've had some of my betas like message me and be like, oh my gosh, like I just need another week, I'm so sorry, like I just I was like, no, you're fine. Like, it's like, you can take like another month. I really don't care. Like, I need some open and honest feedback. But people were so like apologetic for like thinking like they were holding me back. I'm like, yeah, like this editing's going to take a while. It's a 130,000 word manuscript. I am committed to this.
Yeah. I have 4, and I would recommend that if you can avoid having an even number of people giving you feedback, because if you as the author are like really 50-50, it would be nice if you had an odd number so that there couldn't be a 50-50 in the feedback being given to you. But I haven't, in this instance, I haven't actually had a 50-50 problem. Like I've posed a few options to them, and it turns out that most of the time it's like 3-1, or all of them will pick one option, and I'm like, cool, don't have to worry about that. I'm just like, going forward, I need to have an odd number just so I'm not anxious about it possibly being a 50-50 split. I'm going to read some of the comments. Crow is playing catch up today because got nothing done yesterday due to a headache. So sorry to hear that. Hope you're feeling better today. 396 words for Violet. Awesome. 540 words for Claude and finished a scene. Hannah got 269 words. Celine read 20 pages. Stig, 173 words. A research rabbit hole, which was not a good idea productivity-wise. Been there, done that. I think we all have. 137 words for CB. Mercurial wrote school notes. Getting there, that's good. Chandra's dog is whining because she's in her crate while she put together the baby gate to keep her out of the cat's litter box. I only have one pet, and it's a dog, so I don't have to worry about a dog getting into a litter box. Hannah had thoughts, too, while reading Red Queen. Didn't enjoy the series as much as she thought she would. Got a little bit too much hype, and when she read it, she was like, oh, okay.
I understand.
I think I was the opposite because by the time I read it, so many people were trashing it that like I was expecting it to be absolutely terrible, and I was like, "Wow, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be."
I'm very curious. I'm actually buddy reading this with a friend, and she's only in like the first few chapters still. So when she catches up to where I'm at, I'm very excited to kind of see what our thoughts are.
Miguel, if you're struggling with thinking of names, put some things in the chat. I know I helped Hannah pick one name between two options during that last sprint.
Oh my gosh, I'm starting a new book, and I cannot for the life of me find a good enough like love interest name for a boy. I'm struggling, and I've been looking at all those like little baby name things, and I'm like, shoot, none of these sound good.
Yeah, I love.
Wait. I have Scrivener open right now. I'm gonna use the name generator for you. Male or female name?
Male.
Do you want alliteration?
Yes, sure.
Okay, and we're just gonna go with all names. Okay, Daniel, John, Michael.
So weird. I literally in my head went Daniel, and you said Daniel first, and I'm like, what?
That's the first one that's the first one Scrivener gave me. Okay, Daniel, John, Michael, Christopher, Charlie, William, James, Scott, Jason, Joseph.
They're all very vanilla names.
I know.
I was just gonna say
David. Okay, Eric, Jeffrey, Stephen, Jack, Oliver, Joshua. I think it's also because of the alliteration thing. Brian, Kevin. Let's see how many. Oh, you know what? I can generate more names. Or do you want the names to be a little bit more obscure so they're less vanilla?
you can do obscure. That works.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because I know some people don't like that, so I figured not. Okay, wow. Solomon is really like, I don't think we're doing that for one of the books, Sarah. Daryl, Elmer, Jaden, Chuck, Kent, Leo, Reese, Antoine, but spelled a way I've never seen it. Theodore, Ramiro, Francis, Francisco, Dewey, like a Dewey Decimal.
Oh, God.
I would not go with that one.
Sarah, what are the names you have so far? Remind me, because I haven't read your stuff.
In my books?
Yes.
So we have Elijah, Walsh, Lucas, Vincent, and Harry.
I was going to suggest Lucas.
I know.
I really like Lucas.
Do you care if it's the same letter as one of the other ones?
No, I do not care.
How about Levi?
Levi's cute. Ooh,
I love that name.
I gotta write it down. That's a good one.
I like Austin. I don't know why that spoke to me.
Austin.
I like Austin too.
I had a prom date named Austin. He sucked.
Oh. No.
That's a story.
You can let that fuel you.
Yes.
because Zachary Levi is the actor who voiced Flynn Rider, and I just have always loved Levi.
I love him.
Good name.
Okay, Hannah. This was Hannah's comment about my like cleanish first drafts.
Nice.
And then Nia came in. Regina sends out 15 or 20 arcs and like expects like 10 actual responses. CB would love to get beta readers, but it would probably be better if we could do it in person because I'm so on it. I don't know. Like, first of all, I doubt you're uneducated. But second of all, doing it virtually sometimes helps people feel like they can be more honest because they like don't have to like look you in the eye while giving you feedback. What kind of fraternity setting is my Scrivener on? Well, it was just on the least obscure names.
Or vanilla white boy names.
Yes. That's what I was thinking this entire time. I'm like, geez, these are all.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Aiden. I have a cousin named Aiden, so that like I could never put. There are certain character names where I'm like, I can't put you in a book because I'll just think of you as my cousin. And like,
yeah, like my brother's name is Daniel, so I could never. Yeah, you were saying, I'm like, nope.
Well, what about like if it were a friend that you're never gonna write like a spin-off romance book for?
See, that would work as long as I don't have to like imagine my main character kissing them.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Ian, I just think of Ian Somerhalder.
Same.
I can't can't get that out. George, I know someone named that. Simon. I have connotations with it, but like I don't know. I feel like it's a bland enough name that it could be applied to a character, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I buy that. And then Victor. I know someone named that, and then also yeah. There's like Love Victor now, in addition to
when
like,
I saw Simon and Victor,
it's like Simon and Victor.
What I thought.
Oh yeah, there is Love Victor now. Oh.
I don't watch like anything, but I really do want to watch it.
Love Simon, love Victor. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got there. Think of Simon, think of Alvin and the Chipmunks.
There was Theodore on one of the lists too, and that's where my mind went, is Simon, Alvin, and Theodore.
I do like Theodore. I'm like, what are they?
Go for the nickname.
Theodore, and like you can say Theo as a nickname,
Yes,
and not Teddy.
Yeah, I can't do the name Theodore because I'll either good association or better association, Theodore Roosevelt, or bad association for me, someone in my class who was awful to me and nicknamed me, and I'm like, I mean, I guess I could name you and then kill you in a book, but like, you know, like I've never been that author, and I don't know if I like want to become that author just for that person. Although if I were to become that author, it would be because of that person. So
I love it.
It's
I think I would just name
like how much of a cliche do I want to become?
You should do it. Cathartic.
I agree.
Maybe I'll have like my female assassin spy kill someone with that name. Anytime there's someone I don't like, they end up ruining their Garrett.
I do like
which new adult hockey romance series it is, because there are like multiple series that fit that very description. But like, there's one where it's like the guy's name is Garrett, and that's like all I associate that name with.
Yep. As far as interesting names for people that I know in real life, I have a friend who has a son named Nixon.
Okay.
One named Carson. Marco. Braxton.
I hear Braxton. I hear Braxton Hicks contractions.
I have a character.
I've never been pregnant. I know people who've been pregnant, and that's what I.
Yeah.
I do have a character, Brixton. So.
Yeah, and then Rowan, but Rowan is a girl.
I was talking to my mom about that the other day. I was like, I love Rowan for a girl name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's a guy name in the Throne of Glass series.
Yep.
And I never got far enough to actually meet Rowan.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not a fan of where this story's going. I think I stopped after like the third book, but
yeah, you're not missing much.
We've talked about this, Bree. I think I've texted you about it.
They're fine, but there's a lot in the middle got wishy-washy. I didn't care for it.
Yeah, I texted you about that, and then we moved on to why I'm never going to read the Akatar series.
Yeah.
And then we started talking about Grisha stuff. And by Grisha, I mean mostly Ben Barnes, but also sometimes like actual Grisha world stuff. Live out west, so Colorado billionaire. Yeah, the thing is that the Hispanic names I know are all with people that in my real life, so I can't choose them as names for book characters anymore. I spend a lot of time killing off characters, never had problems with names like that. It's just characters have their names for me, and then if they die because of the plot, that's one thing, but I'm never going to pick a character. I'm never going to create a character with a name just so that I can kill them off. That's just not how I write.
So it does seem like a very cathartic journal entry.
This is true.
Amelia, Zofia, Julia, and Barbara.
My main character in this book is named Amelia, and her nickname is Mimi, and I am obsessed with it.
Love that.
I mean, I like Zofia because it's a Z. But basically, out of that list, I would just say not Barbara, please.
I like Zofia. I feel like it's usually you see Sophia, so I like that it does have the Z.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Kingdom of Ash is my favorite Throne of Glass. Or it's just Throne of Glass because it's everything. Yeah. What was the second one? It was Throne of Glass.
Crown of Midnight? Because that's the last one I got to. I have not read Rowan yet.
I thought Crown of Midnight was the third.
No, it's second. So it's Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire.
Okay.
Is it Queen of Shadows next?
Queen of Shadows is next, yeah.
Oh God, what's number 5?
I don't ask me.
I blocked that one. I think I might have hated it. Kingdom of Ash actually the Tower of Dawn, which isn't, it's part of the series no matter what Sarah J. Maas wants to say, you have to read it in order.
Wait, what is she saying? It is part of, why wouldn't it be part of the series?
Tower of Dawn was supposed to be a novella spinoff with following Cole or KL, however you pronounce his name. So it was
Cole, that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, but I will forever pronounce it as Cole.
However, it ended up being 700 pages.
Yeah,
and nothing else. You have to read it because of what happens in the last book. Otherwise, you're missing huge chunks of the story. So she says, you don't have to read it, but you have to read it. So, but I read it, and that saved the series for me because I loved that book, and then Kingdom of Ash was really good. I just hated everything before it.
Queen of Shadows, Empire Storms.
Okay.
Yeah, the Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, and Empire Storms did nothing for me.
I gotta say, I stopped liking the cover designs. I still have the Throne of Glass one with the cover that I like. Probably not because I've been purging all my books lately.
I need to do that.
I'm gonna be right back. I'll be right back. Okay.
No problem.
He'll miss you.
All right. I'm getting distracted because
it's not supposed to be Cole. No, but there is for a series that does have a character named Cole that you actually pronounce as Cole. The Everneath trilogy, which I actually just found my signed copies when I was going through everything. That was a trilogy that retelling Hades and Persephone. And it was at the peak of young adults, paranormal romance, Greek mythology, paranormal romance retellings. which like I know the timeline because I did a presentation on it last semester. But yeah. Okay, we're gonna start the next sprint soon, I promise everyone. I didn't read the code out loud because we were in the middle of chatting. So if there are people who want to join the room, although it looks like everyone's already in it, the code is 5 Tango Uniform Yankee Hotel 89er. Maggie, I'm so sorry to hear about your internet going in and out. I think I remembered you saying that you got it back during Nia's stream last night. And guess that didn't last too long. But thank you for being here. Chandra, honestly, read it once and then make the name something easier to remember if it's confusing and annoying enough to distract me from the story. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, KL. It sounds awful.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, if it sounded cool, I think I could, like, rewire my brain to say it, but I'm like, I don't like the way it sounds. So I'm going to switch to the one that I like.
And honestly, it's like, it looks like it's supposed to be like Chol.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, I've also heard kale before.
I don't think that's what it's supposed to be, though. I know
it's KL.
Yeah.
But it's spelled like not like that at all.
I know, but it's like, okay, you're so close to just basically being Superman, like with Kal-El. And it's like, go back. That's cool. Like, don't do this weird in between BS.
Yeah.
He's just going to forever be Kal-El in my mind now.
Yeah. I don't care what anyone says, too. He was one of my favorite characters in the book. So I know I'm like such a minority like that opinion because everyone hates him apparently.
Okay, here's the thing though, is that the books that I got through, I liked him. And then apparently he does some really bad thing and I'm like,
he doesn't. Like personally for me, I thought their excuse for why they hated him, like the characters in the book didn't like him, was the stupidest thing ever. Like
I think I read the spoiler and because I don't care anymore, I deleted it from my like memory. So I'm like, I don't even remember, but I remember being in your camp. Free. Where I was like, also I just didn't like what was happening with Dorian. And I feel like people in the fandom seem to let him off the hook more for that than what they did.
Yeah. I just think it's like
he is.
One of Sarah J. Maas's weaknesses is that she doesn't know how to write characters like that are
period.
Yeah, like just to say like, oh, like we didn't work out and that's okay. She tries to like
vilify
vilify and like something dramatic has to happen so that like there's no choice but like now the reader has to hate them because they did something unforgivable. But I don't
kind of like what Lee Bardugo tried to do with the Darkling and failed because no one will give up on that.
You're like, oh, I like him more now? What? Yeah. What's wrong with me?
We're talking about the Throne of Glass series because most of us either didn't get all the way through it or did get all the way through it and did not like the whole thing.
I've had thoughts. No,
but don't get me started on the novellas because I can go on for 3 days about how much they suck.
I liked what was the one where she like learns how to be in the first one?
The sand one? It's like they're in the desert.
Yeah. No, was there one before that?
Oh, the prequel?
Yeah, the prequel. I was okay with that one.
It's like the prequel novella, so there's like 5 stories in the book.
I've not done that one.
But they're all before Throne of Glass. So the other thing that I have an issue with is that those are also supposed to be like, you don't have to read these for part of the series, but there's like crucial information that she brings back in book 7 that if you didn't read the novellas, you have no idea what's going on. Sorry, I got a lot of feelings.
That's why we love your videos.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like. He just seemed like, okay, fine, you're there. But I was like, And then this stuff with like the I'm going to say necklace, but people who read it know what I'm talking about. I'm like, I don't like you as a character anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to address this question after this sprint. We're never gonna do more.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
This would take us days.
Yes. Also, I don't know if everyone. Okay, you know what? During the start of the sprint, say if you have not read and or watched, and say like no S&B spoilers or something, because then we'll know like how to do the conversation post sprint. So in 3, 2, 1, happy productivity, everyone.
What? Are you sure you don't want your charger?
How did everyone do?
Good. I submitted some poems for publication, so we'll see if I get accepted.
Yay!
Exciting.
It is exciting. I've been rejected from this magazine 3 times, and I'm determined that I will get in this magazine.
I know Helene and Sarah, there we go, are gonna hop out right about now. So if you would both like to do your outros, or first give a quick update on what you did during that sprint, and then your outro, so people know where to find you.
Yeah, so I got to about the halfway point with Fable, which is exciting. Things are building. There's a lot of like undercurrents of like little things, all these little hints and clues, and they're building and building. So that's an exciting place to be at. And yeah, that's about all I did for that sprint. And then I refilled my water because I gotta stay hydrated.
Undercurrents in Fable.
Yes. But yeah, so I'm Helene Foy. I am an author tuber here on YouTube, and I post writing related content videos at least once a week. Sometimes I do word sprints, sometimes I do 2 word sprints a week. I like to mix it up depending on my schedule, but I try to do at least 1 video a week on my channel. And then I also have an Instagram where I post writing related content. I post writing prompts, writing aesthetics and updates and all that fun stuff, sometimes little excerpts. And yeah.
You should follow her everywhere. I have her YouTube linked in the description, and then I think the link that I have for the banner, which unfortunately we'll be getting to right after you leave, is going to be her Instagram handle. But after the stream ends, I'll update the description so everyone has their YouTube channel and extra link. Or in Laura's case, her website, and then her Instagram. So that's Helene. Sarah?
That sprint, I read some, and then I also made me an iced coffee because I needed caffeine. But I'm Sarah Sutton. I'm an indie author of 4 soon to be 5 young adult romance books. My 5th one comes out June 9th, so if you guys want to pre-order it. I got a goal, and I'm halfway to that goal. So, yeah. That's not counting the signed copies. I probably should count them. I just haven't sat down and looked at them quite yet. But, yeah, anyway. I'm here on YouTube, and I'm on Instagram quite a bit, too. So I'd love to see you over there.
Yes.
Okay, I pre-ordered your signed copy, so very excited.
Yeah, thank you so much. You're gonna get some awesome.
I don't think I pre-ordered a signed copy, but I definitely pre-ordered your book, and then down the line at some point I'll get signed copies of all your books. I'll just do it all in one go.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Okay. Well, I'm gonna hop off. I will see you guys later.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye,
I
Helene.
love the large chat though. That was fun. I didn't. What did I do during the sprint?
Yeah. Well, Bree,
I read some more. Finished. Talked to my boyfriend about what we were planning to do for lunch. It's market day where I live, so they always do a farmer's market. So we might go walk through that once we get out of here. So it looks nice and sunny outside. So just enjoy a little bit of a lazy Sunday. Hopefully, I can get some other things done on the next sprint. So fingers crossed.
What? Oh no, you submitted. You read. I can't point in the proper direction today. Don't know why.
You're fine.
I wrote more. I wrote like 200-ish words. Yeah, because I was also kind of looking at the chat. So Nikki, hello. Crow had a little show to watch.
Oh my God. I was driving through the country yesterday, and I'm like, you just know you're in the country when you just see like all these like old white men with beer bellies, shirtless, mowing their lawn. I'm like, why are they everywhere?
It's a club.
I found out that Nia probably has lucid dreaming like me, because she can wake herself up
nice.
and stuff, and I can too. People are asking whether or not people actually like Selena in Throne of Glass.
Oh,
I did not like Selena, but then Aelin came, and I was like, oh no, you know what? Selena's okay.
it's like Selena.
I was okay with Selena, and then I didn't actually meet Aelin, so I can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I went into reading the Throne of Glass series and knowing like Aelin and Rowan, like they were this like couple and like everyone shipped them, and I was like, cool, can't wait to get to that. And then I read it, I'm just like, who the F is Selena? I was so confused. Like I even like Googled and be like, am I reading the right book? Like this is the right book, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, also
Chad came in. Shanice came in. I do have a similar banner from what Moon Bunny Creative Sage says, which is similar, stretch, hydrate, back up your work. And I want to go back to the comments about Shadow and Bone.
Yes, I was just about to ask about that.
So Hannah immediately came in and was like, no spoilers, please, hoping to read and watch during the summer. So we will behave ourselves. Have not watched it. That being said, don't care if it's spoiled because it's so far down my TBR. Yeah, I mean, I hadn't read it yet, and I just kind of took the opinion that I know that, like, if I haven't read something yet, I might as well watch the adaptation and enjoy the adaptation without nitpicking every single change.
Yeah.
And then read the books later. And I've been listening to the audiobook off and on of Shadow and Bone. I haven't finished it because I'm trying to finish my own novel instead of just like sitting and listening to the audiobook. And the show did change stuff in that, like, there's the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Is that what it's called? Or is it okay? And then you have the Six of Crows duology. And then you have the
King of Scars.
King of Scars duology. I was like, King of Scars comes before the newest one, so Rule of Wolves. So I couldn't remember the order of those. So anyway, there are 7 books, and what the show did is that it took the first season is basically Shadow and Bone, the first book ever written in the Grishaverse. But then you have the characters from the Six of Crows book, and it's kind of like a prequel that like hasn't existed before, but is in the show. And the author clearly was on board with it and fine with it because she's a fan of the casting and obviously stuff. So as someone who hasn't read the books in the order that they were published or just at all, I can't say whether or not it would have been better without them adding in that extra stuff. But to me as a viewer, I think it was really cool. And then Maggie says, like, Discovery of Riches more. I want to read that and I want to watch that, but I haven't yet. And I've seen the two compared a lot, like different age groups, but like I'm like, I think I'd like both of them. I just haven't gotten to them really. Haven't finished it. No issues with spoiling because halfway through. Have not read or watched. Don't particularly intend to read and watch it. Don't want. Okay. Well, I mean, we're just gonna be good because Hannah does want to read and watch it. Yeah. Yes. So one day. Get Bree on there too.
Oh yeah. I could talk all day about books, guys. But as far as Shadow and Bone, I did read the books before the Shadow and Bone series was announced. I read them not in publication order though. I read the Six of Crows duology first, became obsessed, and then went back and read the trilogy. I did really like the trilogy as well, but I would just say, like,
doesn't the duology Six of Crows spoil the end of the original trilogy?
It doesn't.
No, I mean, there's a hint to it, but like it's so subtle that like you really don't know.
I think someone said like, oh, it absolutely spoils it. That's why I was like, oh, I have to do it.
Oh no. There's like I mean, now that you've watched the show, like, yeah, if you read it now, like you would know what the spoiler is, but it's so subtle that like I didn't pick up on it at all because I didn't know what the premise of the first books were.
Okay.
Yeah, but I like it because Six of Crows it's a heist fantasy, which is cool. So it was a very different kind of fantasy concept than what I was used to, whereas the Shadow and Bone trilogy is a very much your standard, typical young adult high fantasy. Yep. So you've like the chosen one trope and like the magic system. So depending on what you like, I can understand why some people might not like the original trilogy, but personally, I liked them both. And I thought the way that they combined them was beautiful. Because I think if they just did Shadow and Bone, it would have been such a weird departure to then introduce the Six of Crows characters later. And I don't think it would have worked because then it would have been like way too high, like only high fantasy adventure. So I really liked how they mashed them together. It was really good.
I will say that some people were really not a fan of some added racial. I was going to say it's not. I don't know if it's so overt that I could call it an overtone, but it's definitely not an undertone to the show by making the main character Alina Starkov half
Shoe,
which is it's like they didn't even try to like make that non like Asian sounding, and Shu means rat in Chinese, and they're called Shuhan, and there's like an image of like anti-Shuhan because they're at war with them, and it looks very much like anti-communist.
It was like
that America has done
propaganda.
Yeah, and I was just like, not a fan, but I know why, but like not a fan of that. But I am a fan of like her being half Shu because they deal with a lot of the BS that I've had to deal with as a Chinese person in America, even though I'm not mixed race. And they did it very well because she's half British, half Chinese. So like she like knows what to do, but also one of her characters, main writers, is half Korean, half American. So like they actually did it well. But yeah, so people were like, oh, why does she have all this racism thrown at her that wasn't in the book? And I'm like, I mean, you can argue that it doesn't belong, but they made it actually integral to the plot. So it wasn't just like, oh, diversity.
Yeah, no, I like that.
It has no effect.
Yeah. And I think you get a lot of diversity through like the Six of Crows cast too. And that kind of comes from like the basis of the world that she built, and kind of like the Six of Crows cast kind of comes from this like melting pot in the city that it exists in, and you have characters that come from all the different bits of the world. So you kind of have that integrated through that. And I think maybe since the Shadow and Bone series also in just the books only really takes place mostly in that one set country, you don't get as much opportunity to incorporate diversity. So maybe they were like, oh, we want to bump up everything to kind of speed to incorporate that. So there might have been a lot of decisions in play that they...
I think they also decided, what did they make Mal? They made him half something, not Shu, but half some other country or whatever, so that like they could bond over being half Ravkin, half whatever. So I like that change. I know that probably people who read the book might like it less, but
I personally loved it. Like I really, because I think it like, I don't know, I just added up more depth to like the world, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I always can empathize with like a main character that really just like is kind of put through the ringer and has to overcome a lot of different struggles in their life. And I think just like giving these very applicable real world struggles that other people can empathize with just made her more of a believable character that you can root for. Because honestly, like Alina is probably my least favorite character in all of the book series. And I think the show did a great job of really making me want to support her and root for her. So I was for it.
Yeah, I don't think she's the most exciting character, which as a main character of a show, a little eek, but like I still really loved her storyline, and I love seeing her on screen. But I think my favorite character is Jesper, and then Inej second. I love Kaz, don't get me wrong, but like, like I like him as a character, but I wouldn't necessarily want to hang out with him. Whereas like I really want to hang out with Jesper and Inej.
Well, my favorite character in the Six of Crows duology is Wylan, who is not. He's the sixth crow that wasn't included in this series, and so I'm just like sitting here waiting, like, all right, season 2, you better have.
Well, Okay, I'm thinking of.
But I don't know if they will though, only because
I can only count 4 crows at the end. Oh, I mean, there are the 3, and then there's one who becomes.
So that's true, actually.
Yeah,
so
because there's Wyland, and then there's. I don't know.
I don't want to spoil it because that would be a spoiler.
Yeah, I know.
But I was gonna say because of how the other 2 characters, so like to make the 6, including Wyland, like they recruit them in like the story, so it's very like in the beginning, so it's not like a huge spoiler. It's like kind of early on, so that's why like I don't know when his character would actually show up in the show because of that, as well as the reason that they have to go get the 6th one, or the 5th one. There's a reason for that too. So
I agree.
I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, there is.
Yeah,
I guess technically you could only make out 4 of them in the show.
And
I mean, the Hunger Games isn't fantasy. I do want to say that the Hunger Games is not fantasy. It's dystopian, which, if anything, falls under the sci-fi category.
That comment shot me in the heart because it's one of my favorite series of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very different. And sci-fi and fantasy, even though they get lumped together by the publishing industry all the time, as someone who reads books, I'm like, excuse you, they're different. The same way where they're like women's fiction and romance. And I'm like, there's a difference.
Can they cross over?
Yeah.
Wait,
there could be like, Venn diagrams. It's cool.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean they're the same. They're like separate.
Yep.
And not to go too off topic, but Bree, I want to know what your thoughts on the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was.
I absolutely loved it.
Okay, good. So it was one of my favorite reads of last year. It's like I got it. I was like, this is so good.
I literally
I'm behind it. I haven't read it yet.
I have like so many videos on my channel because like I went into like I did like a vlog reading it, and then I did like an hour-long discussion talking about it, and then I just don't shut up about it because I just think it's so smart and so well done, and no one appreciates it because it's not what the audience wanted. And I give Suzanne Collins so much respect for writing it because it's not what her fans wanted, what she wanted to write, and I give her a lot of respect.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I thought it was so well done, and just like it gave me everything I wanted. So I might be in the minority of what the fans wanted because I was like, this is great.
Yeah, I agree.
No, but I heard what it was about, and I was like, oh, absolutely, I'll read it. And I just didn't get around to it yet.
Yeah.
So,
But yes, of my current work in progress that I'm working on, I want it to be standalone. I usually write series, so this is testing me as an author to be like, can you just write one book to be standalone? But I have an idea because like my main antagonist like fought and led this rebellion in her youth that gets mentioned a lot. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I would love to do like a prequel story very similar to Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, where you get it from the antagonist perspective and seeing like what made them to be the way that they were. So
I love that.
Yeah, so I think if I can wrap everything up in one tidy standalone series, it would be like almost a duology where it's like you have the first book and then you have the prequel of it.
yeah.
Nice. I like that. I'm the opposite. I typically only write standalones. As much as like I used to think like I'm gonna write all these series, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm good with this. I'm currently doing Oh, sorry, Zara.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say I'm currently writing a dystopian fantasy. And like that's what I'm like all of my like Hunger Games feels, and like but it's adult so it's a little bit older, but like that's I love being in that world where everything's like super like a lot of government propaganda and an unknown history with ruined rebellions. We might be in the midst of a new rebellion starting.
I'm not gonna lie, there's a early on scene in the first episode of Shadow and Bone where they have like the posters about like the countries they're at war with. And because I hadn't read the books, I was like, are they actually at war, or is this like a 1984 scenario?
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, you know what? I wouldn't put it past them. And then it's like, oh no, they're actually at war. And I'm like, damn it. I missed an opportunity.
That is so good. I'm kind of forgot about 1984 because mine, I guess mine does have a little bit of elements like 1984.
Yeah, because the way you're describing it sounds a little like I love it. Like I'm not like, oh, that's familiar. I don't want to read it now. That's like, oh, that sounds familiar. Sign me up.
No, that's honestly, I'm gonna throw that in my comp pile because that sounds good. I didn't think about it beforehand. Mhm.
Also, Zara, with the war in Shadow and Bone, I feel like that's one of the things that gets thrown to the back burner so frequently that as a reader and even watching the show, I'm just like, I forget that they're actually at war with other nations because it's so centric to like the country that they're in, and they don't really show any like actual like fighting or battles with the supposed people they're at war with, and you're like, oh yeah, there's all
It's
this
like
drama
they're
going
at war, but like the war can't really happen because of the giant shadow fold. So they're like, oh, we gotta work on the shadow fold. I'm like, okay, but then like, why are you at war? Like if they can't get to you, like, you know, I mean, they can though, like at the top. Yeah. If you look at the map, they can, but that's not where they are. Where the arena is, so like we don't get to see it really.
Yeah.
It's so funny though, because I read, well, because King of Scars came out 2 years ago, so I read that immediately when it came out, and I'm like sitting here, and I haven't started Rule of Wolves because I'm like, do I remember enough of it? But like, you guys barely said anything, and I'm like, oh, this did happen in that last book. Okay, I feel like I'm getting prepared to read it now.
No, because I was texting Bree yesterday, 2 days ago, about something, and I was like, oh, blah blah blah, and she was like, oh, I haven't read Rule of Wolves yet. I was like, oh, I want to shut up. I obviously haven't read it. I saw something on like the fandom Wikipedia. So I'm like, don't go on there, Bree, because the characters,
yeah, I'm not.
Like, they have stuff about their different books.
Yeah, I have yet to read King of Scars and Rule of Wolves, but I got my boyfriend to read. I wanted him to really read Six of Crows when they announced the show. I was like, you should read this. Like, honestly, if you only read Six of Crows, because I knew like Shadow and Bone was a little bit too romance heavy for his personal taste. And then he read all of it, including Shadow and Bone, Six of Crows, King of Scars, and Rule of Wolves. He bought me a copy of Rule of Wolves for my birthday and then read it. So he's like, I really want to talk to you about King of Scars, so you need to read that next. So that's probably what I'll start.
Oh, but what's really okay, last thing, and then we're gonna do this second to last print, I promise. Was something happened and I texted Brie. I was like, oh, this, and she's like, no, the character hasn't even been introduced. And then I was like, oh, I heard this thing about this character. Do you ship blank with blank? And she was like, oh, well, like, I like him. And I'm like, I'm not asking who you would shack up with in front of the world. I'm asking if you like this person for this character.
I know exactly who you're talking about, and I'm the same. He's second to Rylan.
Yeah. Oh God, Rylan is such a little cupcake.
He's my little cinnamon roll.
But I just cracked up. Bree was like, well, I would like him. I was like, that wasn't the question.
Listen, that's all that matters to me is who I like. It's the same thing with Rochelle Mead's Vampire Academy series, because in the second book, we're introduced to a potential new love interest, and I'm like, he's mine. Like, I don't care if you end up with him, but he needs to be protected.
Okay, we're going to start our final 20-minute sprint, and then we'll have a 10-minute sprint after. In 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. So I did not count how many words I wrote that time.
Make up a number.
50.
Fair.
I wasn't that productive that time around, but it's fine.
I actually did pretty good. I mean, I was going to write like my draft that I'm doing, my dystopian, but then I decided I wanted to edit my fantasy instead. So I was editing.
Productive.
Yes.
That was the struggle of my decision too, Bree. Was like, do I edit or draft more? And I chose editing and went through a little bit more of my beta feedback.
Awesome. It's so hard because I do think I do drafting better on sprints, but I think like I have something that I'm not gonna. I don't want to make like an announcement or anything just because I don't know exactly how it's gonna work. But like I found something to like possibly enter. So like if I'm going to enter it, I need some of it edited. So that's kind of where I was leaning towards, but I'm still like learning the ins and outs of what I might be entering before I do it.
Fair enough.
Fair. I'm like mentally like not with it this morning. So for me, it's like I say editing, but it's really reviewing and like taking like diligent notes and like being like, okay, here's like suggestion and like trying to like think up like solutions that I can make for like little fixes that I need to include. But I don't have a lot of mental energy to commit to actual writing right now.
Are you on the East Coast of the United States or are you elsewhere?
I'm East Coast.
Okay.
So I have no excuse for being mentally awake right now. It should be good, but just not.
Crow's dog dug into the ground, and that ended up with a pile of dirt on Crow's head.
Oh no.
Amber came in. Hello. That was our second to last sprint. This is the code for our final 10-minute sprint, but we're not doing that quite yet. Miguel's DNFing a book for the first time. What book? I'm curious. Crow is 46% done with the book that she's reading. Shanice got 244. Violet 678. That's a high number. Maggie switched to editing because writing wasn't working this morning. Fair enough. Shanice is going to make the chart that Keelan does in her Bujo to have a 10K day. What chart does Keelan make?
I love watching like those charts, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what chart does she use? Because I know V.E. Schwab has a certain chart that Kate was using when she did the trying to write like V.E. Schwab thing. And then I keep track of my words in my Milwordy spreadsheet and then my word counts for like each chapter of my novels, which is a different spreadsheet. But Chandra had to make some calls. Magdalene at the beginning of the end of the work in progress, trying to get back momentum, but it's terrifying. You can do it. I believe in you. 3,723 words before the 10K goal for Violet, and it's only 10:27 a.m. for her. So she's an hour behind.
That's amazing.
That's
you've written like 7,000 words or 8,000 or 6,000 words almost.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's crazy. Gio continued forming characters, really trying hard to make the main character a favorite because I feel nobody likes main characters. I don't agree with that. I love main characters all the time. It's just no one really liked Selena before Ayla because she wasn't like her true self. And then I don't know about the books, but with like Shadow and Bone, the show, I think the problem is that Alina isn't as interesting as the Crows. You know, like I think if it were just her, like yes, the show would be very different because it would be strictly high fantasy. I would be interested in her as a main character the same way that like I was interested in all the female heroines of Kristen Couture's like Graceling Realm series. But because once you put Jesper next to anyone, like they're not as interesting.
Yeah.
The other person isn't as interesting. So like, yeah, I don't know if I agree that people don't like main characters.
I mean, if I don't like the main character, I usually don't keep the book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, I own a lot, and I mean, I haven't read all of them, but I keep a lot that I like. So, but unless like, I mean, sometimes there's like books that like the main character is not supposed to be likable, like that's like a thing. Yay, Mercurial. But as long as like if they're meant to be unlikable, and that's like part of like the growth or whatever, then that's a different story too. But yeah.
But like if it's supposed to be a likable main character, I feel like in general I like them. Like the main reason I don't like a main character if they're so whiny that I can't get past it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think usually for like main characters versus like interesting side characters too, it's like you kind of are like you're usually like stuck in their head or their point of view or something where you're like close in, and it's like you're not going to love them all the time, but on the general whole, like I can root for them and I can love them and respect them. But yes, like main characters will do something at one point to be like, okay, fine, like let's continue on.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, because you said about it being like drama or romance books. So, like, I don't read a lot, which is possibly why. However, the ones that I have read, at least, well, the most recent one I read, I hated the main character. So sorry, Gio.
Court of Thorns and Roses is the book that Miguel's DNFing board reading through the middle of it. Okay, Keelan makes a chart to keep track of her words and how many words she edits and how many words she does. Oh, yeah, okay. I've read a chapter of The Huntress by Katie Quinn. Final sprint. I'll be getting all my assignments I need to get done today. Awesome.
Yay.
No, I mean like in drama books and romance books, the main character never ever seems to... I mean, I disagree. I personally normally love the main characters for a romance. The best.
I don't read enough romance.
There always is like a best friend where I'm like, oh my god, I love you, but like I don't it's not that I don't like the main character. Yeah. And sometimes I don't like the side character better than the main character. And then once said side character becomes a main character in their own book, I'm like, oh, I love you. Like as a main character. And I also like the friendship that you had with previous main character. You know, like
wait, is To All the Boys I Loved Before considered romance?
Yes.
Okay, then I liked her. So that one counts.
Well, it's like if I don't like the main character of a romance, I don't like the romance.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's
whereas like and same with if I don't like the main character and it's not that the character isn't supposed to be likable, then I don't like the book. Like the plot could be amazing, but if I don't like your main character, I'm gonna finish that and be like, plot was cool, didn't like the book.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy in the romance genre to fall in love with the love interest because you're reading and experiencing the story right along with the main character. And if they're falling in love with the love interest, you're also falling in love with the love interest.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think it's about whether or not you like the character whose head you're in. And I'm like, you're kind of just in there. So like, unless you really hate their like whininess, then like my default is I like them.
I would argue against this comment, but to respect the opinion, because I can understand what it is. I do think my issue with Sarah J. Maas isn't her plot, because honestly, her plots are actually usually pretty good. I just wish there wasn't so much smut surrounding them. It would probably make it a little bit better for me. Also, the conveniences that she does a lot in the plots bother me.
I mean, I don't like the relationship dynamics that happen.
Oh yeah. No, I mean like in general, the relationships I have a huge issue with. But just speaking on like the plot, it's usually like I think her plots are very interesting and intriguing. It's just the other things that have to happen in the plots I could do without.
Yeah. I think you were definitely ruined, Gio, because like I understand your point I understand that you have your opinion, but it sounds very cynical and not at all representative of what I've experienced across reading very widely across different genres. And even with it and very deeply within the romance genre too. So
yeah, I haven't read enough to really give a solid opinion.
1,000-year-old fae and a 16-year-old girl. I mean, also, what was Edward's 800?
I was gonna say she is 19 in the book.
And
Okay.
he's only 500. Still.
Yeah. It's very much like the vampire thing too. I mean, like,
yeah,
I said,
that's what I was gonna say. I was like,
yeah.
Edward and Bella, and then anyone, and Elena in Vampires, anyone.
Everyone.
Yes, it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling-ish, kind of the same way that Throne of Glass started as a Cinderella retelling. Because she was like, what if Cinderella went to the ball to kill the prince?
Makes me so sad that she took that out, though.
I know. I'm like, that's like the best selling point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There are certain fairy tales where I'm just like, I don't think I can rewrite you, like, in any way. That's one of them. That and, like, Sleeping Beauty. Like, I'll sometimes read, like, retellings of them just because I'm curious to see, like, what people do. But I'm like, I cannot make myself rewrite those stories. Like, I would just hate doing it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah,
we need more Rapunzel and Tangled.
Yes. My favorite.
I cannot find anything inherently wrong about Flynn Rider.
No.
Okay.
No.
Tangled is my favorite, like, princess movie ever. I will go down with the ship, but I literally because I want to, like, Rapunzel is like a character that I want to cosplay. It's just
I was gonna say you should totally cosplay.
And I get literally, like, all the time people tell me I remind them of Rapunzel because of my personality, I guess, and also we're both Hufflepuffs. But the one day, the Rowan that I was talking about, like, she's like my honorary niece. It's my friend's daughter. And she was watching Tangled, and I was like watching it, and they're like, to Flynn Rider, she's like, that's Uncle Greg. Greg is my husband. And I'm like, I married Flynn Rider. So now I'm trying to get him one day to go to Comic-Con with me as Flynn Rider. So that we
do it.
I don't know if he will. He could be a stick in the mud sometimes about cosplaying, but, like, if I can get him, I'm sold.
You know what? Do a poll on Instagram and then be like, the people have spoken.
Like, we need to have this photo opportunity, Greg.
I'm the same way, but with Princess Anna in Frozen. That is my character. When I first watched that movie, I was like, wait, did Disney just create a character that's me? like on screen, I was just like, red hair, hand-me-down rope. Like, with everything. So I have done Halloweens and things, and I worked for the company for some time. So I did make my boyfriend dress up as Kristoff for Halloween, but we did a different take where we went as, like, a group and we all did, like, princesses in pajamas. So I did, like, a take of Anna's, like, dress and everything, but, like,
did you
in, like, a robe.
Anna in pajamas, kind of like in Wreck-It Ralph too, when, like, all the princesses are in pajamas?
I do have the shirt that she wore in that scene.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
I love that scene. Yeah, I feel like she just says she's inspired by a fairy tale and then throws it out the window. So
yeah. I mean, because there is elements to some degree, but, like, it's literally just, like, the bones, like we get stolen and, like, we have to, like, repay for what we did, and then that's kind of where it stops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why my vampire novel is going to be adult.
Yeah,
can't do it.
I mean, psychologically, it's really messed up, but at the same time, I'm a hypocrite because I've read a lot of these types of stories. So, like,
yeah. I mean, I'm still trash for them. But I do understand that there's an issue with it. I get it.
Yes. Yeah, we'll text each other. We'll both be like, "Oh my god, this relationship is so messed up," but, like, at the same time, though, if it's a real, hell no.
Yeah, unless, like, if it's a teenage, like, my argument that I had is that if the teenage, like, brain also stops developing as a teenager, then it makes sense why they would be attracted to teenagers, because that's where they're at developmentally.
Right, but, like, it's still creepy if you're like, okay, like, you died when you were, like, 17 and became a vampire, and so you're an immortal 17-year-old and probably psychologically never moved past that, but you're still
living
hundreds and hundreds of years older than this girl that you're falling in love with.
Yep. Yeah,
so
learn
therefore,
something.
even though your brain didn't mature, you've had life experiences that should inform your behavior.
No, you're very valid point.
It goes into the concept of suspension of disbelief too,
Yeah.
where you're like, this is fiction, and I will just accept that he can act and think like someone who would be.
Here's the thing is that everyone is like, oh my god, if I knew a vampire, like I'd want to fall in love with them. I was like, I don't know if I'd want that. Like I would just want to be turned, so like I could have the super speed, super strength.
Yep.
Immortality. Like yeah. That's the new book by
I have not
Kevin
read it.
Kwan, the author of Crazy Rich Asians. I haven't read it.
Oh.
For Akatar, does this smexy stuff get in the way?
It starts to. Especially if you read the newest one, A Court of Silver Flames. I'm like, oh my lord, I really just want to.
Everyone went at it online, being like, it's just sex.
Yeah.
Oh my
that
god.
one was definitely the smut book with some fantasy plot elements, but
Yeah. If you literally took out like the smut, it would just be like 200 pages shorter.
yeah.
Like,
no,
it would
just
be fine.
200 pages.
Yeah. Because like, and the thing that makes me so mad is like she really actually addresses trauma very well in that book, but like, but not with the sex stuff. And that it makes me so mad because it's like, you're actually undermining your whole trauma informed story by putting all this sex in there. Yeah. Especially because the sex is so unhealthy and that's never addressed. Yeah. Sorry, another tangent.
I will say in real life, some people do that as a maladaptive coping mechanism, but in a book, it should be dealt with.
Exactly. And that's why I got mad because I'm like, I can totally, because I work with like trauma clients. Like that's like my job. It's like all my clients have trauma. So like I'm used to seeing a lot of this stuff. However, you can't just be like, oh, like all this sex or whatever. And then all of a sudden it goes from a coping mechanism to healthy. Like, no, like I want to see that progression.
Yeah. I mean, the original story of Rapunzel is really messed up.
Oh, yeah.
And eyes getting caught out is the least of that problem. BS from the original. So.
And yeah, any of them are really messed up. So I get it. Like, but yeah, if we're going specifically for Disney's retelling, then we're fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, Flynn Rider, nothing objectively wrong.
I would dress as Tiana, but for like 90% in the movie, so nope.
Oh, Tiana.
Well, one of the sad things about that movie is like they made her a frog for most of it.
All my vampire stories are adult vampires and teens. I don't think so. I
agree with you.
I mean, a grown man who's been in prison since he was a teenager, psychologically stunted at the same time because of trauma. Still illegal.
Yep.
Yes, I like that.
What creeps me out when the older love interest crushed.
Oh God, no! Charlie, what did you read?
What the hell?
Oh.
What did you read?
Yeah, no, that's scary.
Only vampire I want to meet is Blade.
Blade.
I liked Spike until he did something. And now I can't get past that. Like the murder and everything else he had done up until that point. I'm like, I forgive vampire. Every vampire has done that. But like, I was like, no, can't.
Sarah, just side chat and text me what that is because I want to know.
Okay. Have you watched the whole show?
Oh, multiple times.
I was gonna say, I was like, okay, there's no okay, yes.
I just want to know what your thoughts are.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yes, I can think someone's more feeling for you right now.
Yes, that was my point.
Yeah. And it also goes through stuff like with trauma as well, because like when you go through a trauma, like our brains, like as if we're going through a road and our brains diverge. So like with like when you're working with people, like their life experience can be so much older than they actually are. So for instance, if we become a vampire and that when we actually are feeling that, like it does kind of make sense from a psychological standpoint that yes, even though they're technically like developmentally and chronologically this stage, they are still experiencing a lot of stuff that would kind of give them that edge up, even if their responses are a little bit more immature as a 17-year-old. So So I still can't really excuse it.
Yeah, like we could talk all day about like, okay, this part like could make sense with some suspension of disbelief, obviously with the immortality part, but like that doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when someone's like, you know, like goes on a revenge murder rampage in a fiction thing, and you're like, oh, totally understand. Is it right? No, but do we understand? Yes,
Exactly. Yep, I agree.
Being immortal or immortal, Jason would completely suck because he would be burying all the mortals around you forever. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But also, like, you would want to be clear about what type of immortality you had, because if you were like Nicholas Flamel, like from like the Fantastic Beasts movies, it's like he's frail as hell. He just can't die. Versus if you're a vampire, it's like, and you're not Nosferatu, like you're forever young and immortal.
Mm-hmm.
There's a friendship like that in Heroes of Olympus.
Oh,
Age of Adeline. That's what I was thinking of, but it was like she stopped aging and she had a relationship with the guy, and then because she had stopped aging, she had to leave, and then she winds up falling in love with the guy's son.
Oh, I do remember. Okay.
Also,
and the original guy's like Harrison Ford, and he's like, "It's you," and she's like, "Awkward."
Yeah, I was gonna say, in that movie, did she know it was his grandson though?
She found out later, like after
that's
they
what I
already started like getting him. It's not. She's like, "Oh, like I'm going after your family."
No, yeah. That's what I thought. Because I'm like, because it is a little bit different though. If like you almost if you knew, then that's a little bit weird. Yeah, it is terrifying.
Also, seeing Age of Adeline reminded me. I just recently read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I think that is a book that really just like the theme of immortality is very well developed through there.
I agree. That was one of my favorite books of the year last year.
It was super good.
Talking about why if she were a vampire, she wouldn't fall in love with humans.
Yeah, that valid point.
Which I eat.
I'm so excited. I want to write my vampire book too because I really like the lore around blood, like drinking. I'm hoping it's different enough, but it's like where like the reasons that they don't like they have to kill what they drink. Like I have like a reason around that. So that like
Wait, they have to kill as in like they can't drink from a blood bag or something like Vampire Diaries tries to get away with.
So like no, more of like if they because like drinking blood or like bites are venomous essentially.
Right.
So like it's so unstable that it's almost like it's frowned upon to not finish your food essentially. So like if you're like you
I like that.
Like you pretty much are encouraged to kill the human because it's like almost like inhumane to like let them possibly not know if they're gonna die for the next week.
Oh wow.
So there's like a whole like governing system of the vampires that I have of like why this is frowned upon and also why you can't drink off of other vampires. So I want to write that now. See, this is why I can't do live streams anymore because now I want to write everything.
It's okay. My nano project from last year, the one that I had outlined about a weekend before NaNoWriMo started and threw my current project to the back burner, was a vampire book because I literally thought of like what my vampire lore was going to be. And then also like I write a lot of romance subplots in all of my books. So I was like developing the vampire lore and then the romantic structure at the same time. I'm like, okay, I have a book now. This is fine.
Love it. Yes. Very fair, Eva. As someone who works with like I mostly work with children, but I obviously have to have contact with their parents and sometimes it's guardians, grandparents, other people. Totally true.
Yeah, age does not cure stupidity.
Nope.
Always. Sometimes it just makes people more set in their ways, and I'm just like, come on.
Like you're torturing me. Please stop.
So you need to leave, you said?
Yes, I'm going to hop off so I can end things at noon. So if if we only start, I won't be back before the end. So I just wanted to say bye and thanks for having me on today. I guess to give a quick outro, find all my stuff at newbietonovels.com. I'm primarily on the Instagram. That's where I also host my little live series that I do where I talk about books that I've read and enjoyed, but kind of picking them apart from the writer's lens. And also lots of different writing content on that. Oh, I'm also a brand ambassador for the writer community on Instagram, and they have a website, thewritercommunity.com, and lots of fun, helpful blog posts about writing craft and everything writing related on there.
Yes. So Laura's website is linked down below, and I will link her Instagram too after the stream is over. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for having me. All right, how do I leave?
Okay, final sprint. We're going to go a little bit over the 3-hour mark because of that very long vampire chat.
So this is what happens when you invite me to streams. I don't shut up because
I love it.
Like people.
I knew we were going to go long anyway because of the multiple people, but then like people were leaving, so we had to say goodbye to them too, and just Okay, we are going to do this in 3. Oh, hold on, wait, I gotta set the timer back to the actual 10. In 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. I set up my bullet journal for tomorrow. I didn't finish the chapter.
Hey, that sounds fun though. I'm still editing. I did not finish the chapter that I'm editing, but that's cool.
Cool. This current chapter just keeps going on and on.
Oh no.
But like, I mean, I don't want to break it up into another chapter because then it'll just ruin the pacing. But it's like, wow, I'm spending a lot of time on sexy times.
Now that we've been talking about it, you're like, oh, okay.
No, it was already the plan before. And then it's just because you kept talking, I wasn't like writing it during the, you know, instead it was just like, I didn't finish it because we were talking about other people's sexy times.
Fair.
6,666.
Well, you should just stop there.
Praise Satan.
Yeah.
Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, everyone. I'm not necessarily praising the devil.
Yes.
Although the Satanic Church treats women better than the Catholic one.
Yep.
So there's something to be said.
Gotta love it.
There was a sign up, you know, like those signs outside of churches, and I think I sent it to you and Kelly, where it was like, remember, Lucifer was the first to demand equal rights. And someone replied, like, I'm not sure if this is anti-Lucifer or pro-women's rights.
For real. Yeah, I do remember that sign. Just to confuse things more.
Yay, I'm so glad to hear that, Hannah. Edited a chapter for Maggie. Awesome. Let me take this off. And I'm going to remind everyone to please stretch and hydrate after the stream, but definitely save and back up your work and like the stream if you haven't already. Shanice got 121 words. Maybe you're just thinking very hard about stuff. Maybe you just gotta think less and just type.
Yeah. Sometimes it's also like headspace too. Like if we're like going from talking and then like trying to transfer into a shorter sprint. Sometimes it is hard because I also kind of have to like come down off the conversation and then like that's 5 minutes into the sprint. Yeah, now you gotta keep it.
Yeah. I'm not sure what this is in reference to. Maybe the first part of your comment got deleted, Maggie?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Devin always has a YouTube playlist. Let me find that.
I don't know if anyone. I've been so bad at like trying to keep up on YouTube on anything, so I haven't really seen too many people talking about streams, but I'm sure they're out there.
I don't either, but I hear, but like Devin always supposedly has one, so. Today is, okay, there are already playlists for tomorrow and yeah, for like, here is this person's account. And there's a playlist for today that you can just click on.
Oh, perfect. I personally too, like when I know the people who are streaming, but like usually if I just type in like writing live streams, there's something happening somewhere on the internet.
Yeah. Going to try and start using Photoshop. I believe in you.
Ooh, good luck. I will never try.
I do it regularly. It's not as scary as it sounds once you get used to it.
I just don't have any interest.
I mean, if you don't have an interest, you and it's not necessary. There's no reason for you.
Yeah. I use like the Photoshop Express on my, like for my photos on Instagram, but that's as close as I get.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome, Hannah. Thank you for being here, Maggie. Oh, you're doing the revisions. Yeah, those take time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you meant you were like drafting your Pretty Little Liars and Heathers, and you were like, why is this taking so long when I can draft faster and other things?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes the story is slower than like another one to write, but if it's editing, yes, that takes time.
Oh,
yeah.
Like I said, I mean, I did two sprints where I was editing and I got like a page. So I definitely take a lot longer.
Thank you for everyone. Okay, rewrites. Gotcha.
Yeah, you're fine.
I wouldn't worry about the time necessarily, because like you said, it takes time. Okay, Bree, you want to do an outro?
Sure. Hi, I'm Bree Buonomo. I am a writer, a reader, and a nerdy witch, and I post all that content on my YouTube channel. So if you guys aren't subscribed and you want to come join me, I'm very close to 700 followers, which is very exciting. So I would love to hit that sometime this week. That would be super exciting.
Follow her. She's great. She goes on. She talks about, some of the stuff that we talked about during our chats, but also she's doing the Rework Chronicles, right? Not the Rewrite Chronicles.
The Rework.
Rework, because she's co-authoring a book with a friend, and they're doing every Saturday morning in May. So that's been fun. Okay, yes. So my name is Sarah Hoffman. I'm a self-published author of 5, soon to be 6, and then many other books in the future. I host writing sprints every Sunday on YouTube right here at 9 a.m. Normally, I only go for 2 hours instead of 3, but today was special because I had so many guests. Normally, I have been streaming on Twitch on Tuesdays and Fridays, but this week, I'm going to be streaming tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern on Twitch, and then Friday morning at 9 Eastern as usual. But then for June, I don't know my schedule yet, because if I get the internship that I want, which I find out on the 28th, then my schedule will have to be moved around. So I'm not totally sure about that, but my next stream is tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time on Twitch. And with that, I'm going to